Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Sandra Colton-Medici, and I am so excited that it is Friday number one, and I hope you're having a really good day. I have just added a few different workshops to my page. So if you haven't had a chance to take advantage of looking at the events portion, the events tab of the page, make sure that you do because there's about four that are already lined up. So today, this workshop is called Remix, Repurpose, and Realign Your Messaging for Your Business. And there are a lot of things that have happened in 2020. And so sometimes with the influx of all of the outside influences that we have going on, there can be some mix up happening with our messaging where we're not actually staying on task. Now, that is to be expected, and we need to be ready when that happens. But there are a few things that I think will be super beneficial for you moving forward. To realign your messaging, and that is taking content that you have already created that may or may not have been seen during this kind of turbulent time that we've had in 2020 and putting it forward for future content and have it be remixed and repurposed. So, when you're thinking about your content, it's not old just because you've used it. It has been out there in the ether. It can be found probably through SEO and all of those search options, whether it's through Google search or any other. But you can take that content, and if it was missed or passed over because there was such an influx of information overload in 2020, take that opportunity to move into 2021, remixing your content, repurposing it, and having a fresh new start for you and your business. So I'm going to go into, this is only a 30-minute workshop, which means that if you have questions, make sure that you are putting them in the chat box. I will try to see, what's going on in there if you have any questions. If not, I'm going to put in the chat box my email so that if you have any questions that I don't get answered on this particular website or workshop, that you do have a chance to, I'm shedding. That you do have a chance to send over your information and contact so that I can help you. So my email is in the chat box, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them in there. So let's just get started, because like I do with Sweet Butts with Sandra, the podcast, I try not to take up too much of your time because I know it is valuable, and so is mine. So the top 10 ways that I like to repurpose content. Number one is to splice up video. I know that sounds really easy, but a lot of people don't do it. So you might have, gone onto YouTube and posted something that was an hour long. I don't have an hour generally to spend on watching videos, but you might have 5 to 10 minutes. Generally speaking, you want to go a little bit over 10 minutes on YouTube just so that, the algorithm helps you. So if you have an hour long video, chop it up. What I like to talk about in 2021 is nuggets of next. And that means that you can't be stuck in the past. We always, even no matter what's going on, you got to move forward. So think about, and I'm not talking about tragedy because obviously we all deal with things in our own way, but I'm talking about with your business. You need to continually refresh what you're doing. And that means if you had an old video, update it. There's nothing saying that you cannot update an old video with new information that helps the customer or your audience. So take your hour-long video and splice it up into smaller segments so that you can get people's attention, even the ones that only have that 5-minute span. Get those people so that you can make sure that they know what you've done and where you're going. Number two, add old filters to your photos. Now, it's all about context. When I look at old photos and I'm like, gosh, people probably saw this. No, they didn't. You know what I mean? How many people are searching the internet? Maybe they did and they liked it, but if your friend comes across as the same picture again, they're probably going to like it again if they liked it before. So what I would say is to repurpose or remix your old photos. Take a filter that you haven't used and put it on that photo, or make a montage of old photos. That's another way to take something you've already put out there and repurpose it for 2021. Number 3, create checklists. I am a big checklist person. Now, you might have checklists on your phone, you might actually still handwrite your notes, but a lot of people want checklists, or they want some sort of top 10 list. So if you have a list that you've put together, whether maybe it's like a holiday gift list, or you have a binge watching holiday movie list, which is something that is going to come on my website, on my blog pretty soon, you can start with a bigger list and then make smaller lists. So you can create more content if you start with a large list, like let's say the top 50 lists, or top 50 movies, holiday movies that you should watch between Christmas and New Year's. And then you make it into a smaller list, my top 25 romantic holiday movies to watch between Christmas and New Year's. And then you get it down to your like top 3 or top 5, something like that, so that you've already made 4 different pieces of content out of one list. Okay, so you can take a list and make it into a bazillion different pieces, so that you're giving people what I talked about before, which is nuggets of next in 2021. Now, number 4 is I'd like to create polls, and people love to give their opinion. So there's an infinite amount of questions that you can ask. What you want to do is relate it to your business. So today I actually put on to my Facebook page, I put a reference to Taylor Swift's new album, and I actually was relating it to her new song. It's called Tolerate It, and it reminded me of being in a relationship and having that relationship so consume you that your career is struggling because you can't balance the two. And so that's a way that I've taken a something that's trending and really taken it into what I talk to with people, which is about career development and where they want to go with their business. But it's a topic that is trending right now. I love the song, but I related it back to my business and helping people with theirs. So that's one thing that you can do, is take a poll and not just ask any question, but take a poll and ask people, hey, I put up this content. Do you like A or B? And make it, maybe it's a logo that you've created and you have like a black and white version and a color version, or you have like a hot pink versus a light pink. Ask them which one they like, because people will always like to give their opinion, and that creates engagement, which is that two-way conversation that you want to have with your audience. Okay, number 5. Utilizing poll quotes or your signature quotes. So a lot of times I like to say, make your mark, don't just stand on it. That's one thing that I love about, my past, entertainment days, is you have to hit your mark every single time, but don't just stand on your mark, make your mark. And if you have a quote that you've used in, whether it's, your business, or maybe it's your logo or something like that, use that so that you can make sure that people understand who you are as a brand, but also moving forward into 2021, take those quotes and use them in your content. Okay, where am I? Number 6. Okay, number 6 is make a video of you looking back at old content, because right now we're in a time of reflection, in the holidays, and in some sort of December 31st, around that time we always do a lot of reflection. We look back on what has happened throughout the year. Then you can do the same thing with your business and do kind of a look back at what happened in 2020, or a look back on some of your accomplishments that you've had in 2020 for your business, or even for yourself personally. So a lot of times people forget, like, you can look back at old stuff. Like, people are not going to be mad at you looking back at old things if you have some sort of context around it to make sure that they know that you are reflecting. And then this is how you're going to take what you've done and move it forward into the future. So, number 7, we talked about asking people questions in polls. Number 7 is asking your audience, a question about how you can help them. That is one thing that I love doing, because they will tell you if you can help them, or they will ask you a question that leads to something else where you can be able to have another way of engagement. So asking questions, not just a poll, but asking a direct question. So what is one skill? I think this is what I asked the other day on Facebook. What is one skill, if you had it right now, that you could implement into your business? What would it be? Leave it in the comments, and let's open that dialogue, because you never know, in this community that we have on my page or with Sweet Bites with Sandra, where other people might be able to help you get to your goal. So I always like to open up the forum, ask the question, because somebody might say, I need somebody that's a coder, I need somebody who does Facebook ads, I need somebody who's a copywriter. And you never know, in our community, those people that are, seeing these comments might be your person. They might be that one person that you need to either help you get that skill to move your business forward, or they might be able to be somebody that you hire to do that for you and take one thing off of your plate, so that you can delegate things out. All right, number 8 is creating videos. Now, I know I talked about videos before, but this one is creating videos so that you can tell people how you've designed the content. So you're designing content on video, okay? Instead of in your house, behind the desk where nobody can see you. It's almost like somebody in a LinkedIn forum the other day, I was chatting with some people, and they said, how do I balance my 9-to-5 job and working out and get it all in without feeling overwhelmed? And somebody said, well, film yourself working out, because then you have content to put out there so that you're using what you would normally do on a daily basis as part of your branding. And I said, one, a lot of people don't want to be filmed working out, but it is a good strategy. So when you're thinking about creating your content, maybe part of your content strategy is using that behind the scenes of filming yourself making the content as another way to create content. Number 9 is, if you do choose to film your content, there's always a way to take that and break it up to make a tutorial out of that behind the scenes video. So the first video could be just a behind the scenes of, maybe you're a painter and you're painting your sketch, and then you decide to hyperloop it so that it's fast. And then one content piece is that sped up version of you making some sort of artwork. And then the next version is the other portion of the content, so that you can narrate what you've done. You can talk about your watercolors and your, paint strokes, and some of your inspiration, and who the artists are that you look up to, and why you used oil-based versus water-based, or whatever it is that you do. You can narrate that behind the scenes video, so that there's some sort of tutorial, like the guy with the happy little clouds. Do one of those, so that's 2 separate different pieces of content. Last but not least is number 10. And I like to say that this is kind of a how it's made video, which is talking about your brand and pulling back the veil, if you will. It doesn't have to be about the artwork, let's say, that we just talked about, but it could be about the journey and where you've been and where you're coming from and how you're going to progress. So you could make an entire video or some sort of doodle, because they have those doodly little sketches, or a sequence of photos in a video that kind of montage, so that people understand your brand and your brand perspective, and how they can see themselves within your brand, and how they can use whatever it is that you're offering, whether it's e-services, like online courses, or if it's a physical product that they actually have to buy to bring into their home. But that is another way. So those are my top 10 ways to repurpose your content, and make sure that you're taking your brand from 2020, which we have all experienced some sort of way of getting through it, and we are ready for 2021, so that we can move everybody into that 2021 with a fresh take on maybe some old content, because we were very distracted this year, and to be very honest, a lot of people had a lot of hardship and they did not have the moment to have a distraction, to look at your brand. So that's one thing that I would say is don't discount the work that you put into 2020 as being old news, because you can take it and you can refresh it for 2021, remix it, repurpose it, realign your messaging for where you see yourself going in 2021 so that you don't lose all that great content that you had for 2020, because a lot of people probably didn't see it. They were worried about, how they were gonna, stay healthy. They were worried about masks. They were worried about, social distancing. They were worried about the law. They were worried about the voting. They were worried about the election. Like a lot of people were worried about something, or constantly scrolling past things that they would normally stop at to get to the information of the day. And so now moving forward, I hope that everything, with people's health wise, that people are going to, adhere to what we're getting into with the remedies and whatnot. But I hope that people are going to start to go back a little bit to some of their fun, because that means they're going to stop on your business posts and hopefully take in the goodness that you're giving them, because I know that I scrolled past a lot of stuff I would have normally stopped on before, because I was a little bit more worried about safety and security and all of that stuff. And I think in 2021 people will get back to stopping on your business's posts, and whether it's your products or it's you just speaking to the camera about who you are, what your brand is, and where you're going in the future. I think that people will stop more on that because they will be less worried, hopefully so, I'm crossing my fingers, about the other stuff that we've been so concerned with this year. So my top 10 are there. If you missed it, feel free to go back to the beginning of this video, check those out, and also make sure to check the description, because I have put a special offer in. If you are an entrepreneur that is starting your own business, or you've actually started your own online course, this would be for you too. My program, it's called Course Sweetener. It helps you create, launch, and scale your own course. And I have a special offer in the description. So if you click on it, it's only $230 for the rest of December till December 25th. So if you need a good gift for someone who has expertise that needs to put it online and they want to be their own boss, that's for them. Or for somebody who already has a course that's maybe struggling on how to scale it, or figure out how to really find their niche, that would be for them too. So hopefully if it's for you, you take advantage of that. And if it's for your loved one, make sure that you give the best gift possible. And I am around. I put my email in the chat box. So if you have a question that you would like answered, for sure, send me an email. It's at info@sandracoltamedici.com. Check the events page on my facebook.com/Dr. Sandra Coltamedici. The events page has the rest of the events for the entire rest of the year. I think there's about 4. And so we'll be chatting. I'm trying to build this community, and I'm so glad that you had a chance to just hang out with me for a little bit today. My point in having these is not to take up your whole day, but to make sure that you have just nuggets of nowness and push you to the next, so that you can thrive with your business and whatever personal goals that you may have too. So I'm going to check here to see if I have any comments that I've missed, and I'll see you guys later. Happy holidays if I didn't say that before, and I hope that you stay safe and healthy wherever you are in the world, and I'll talk to you guys later.